times I get knocked down can only make me stronger, because I wake up every day and I strive for stronger.
Hey, took my chance, the dice rolled, let me slide in. Welcome y'all to my show, bout to begin. This the time I go viral, so let me just shimmy all the way until I pop off. Took my chance, the dice rolled, let me slide in. Welcome y'all to my show in the top 10. I'll bet it all for the title, so let me just shimmy all the way until I pop off. Look, I'm tired of excuses and secrets. Keep my head up and know this ain't easy. So grab your popcorn bags and relax. I'ma shimmy all the way until I pop off.
Right, so I've given Ellie the week off camera duties this week. We're really busy at the moment, and I think it's really important that she prioritises her training as well. So yeah, it's definitely more important that she's out riding a bike at the moment than she is following me around with the camera. But I have had a really good week of training. It's the biggest week of training I've managed so far, which I'd love to share with you. So what I think would be really good is if we take a deeper look at the training that we did do last week and have a look at some of the data from the key sessions. And I think as well, it'd be really interesting, I think, to just look at the structure of that and share how we're structuring that out to maximise the time that we've got around Ellie working full time, both the businesses that we run, looking after the dog and running the house and making sure that life just doesn't completely fall in on ourselves. So yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to sort of share how we're structuring that out so that we maximising the most out of our training. So let's start by just having a look at what we did manage last week. If you look over here on the right hand side, you can see that I managed to do 21 hours, which is the biggest week of training that I've managed so far. So I'm really happy with that. And that was split as follows. So we've got 4 hours of swimming, just over 11 hours of cycling, and just under 6 hours of running. So pretty good balance between all three. That's the biggest week of running I've done so far as well. And I managed to do, as you can see down there, just over 66 kilometres, which for me is a really good week of running. Got a good mix of quality sessions in with the volume as well. So it's not just all empty. Not just all empty hours. We got in some really good quality sessions as well. So highs and lows of the week. I think highs of the week were definitely the key sessions all went really well. So I had a couple of key run sessions in the week, which were the sort of 8x1 minute hill reps you can see over there on Monday, and 15 times 400 meters on the treadmill on Friday. They both went really well. And then I had this big long ride on Saturday morning, this 4-hour ride, which had a progressive build in it. I was a little bit nervous about doing that one, but it went really well. So I was really happy with that. Those are probably the highlights of the week. Lows this week, probably the swimming. Got 4 swims in. They actually went all right pace wise. Just I felt really tired all week in the pool. So yeah, just felt tired. Didn't feel great in there. So I think the swims are probably the low, but we still got in a lot of good quality work, and like I said, the paces weren't too bad. I just felt really tired. Let's take a look at some of these key sessions. So if we start on Monday with those hill reps, if we look at the graph on this, you can kind of see what we were trying to do with the structure of the session. So the idea was basically run a loop, nice and easy as a warm-up. That finishes at a really nice hill for me, so I can definitely get out I could get out longer than a minute on it, but I can definitely get out a really good minute of sort of full gas effort up it. And then we did 8 1-minute efforts where we go as fast as you can while still maintaining kind of good form. So we're sort of focusing on keeping a really nice high turnover when we're running uphill and getting a good forward lean on from the ankle. So it's helping us with the strength and the fitness, but it's also promoting some really good sort of efficient run technique things as well. So 8 times 1 minute up as hard as you can, about 2 minutes back down, just easy jog, walk in, whatever you need to do to just get back down to the thing and fully recover to go really hard again. So you can see those 8 intervals quite nicely in the middle there. Pace on those isn't super high because it's a really steep hill, but you can see the heart rate getting up. I think it's getting up into the sort of 160s, high 160s, low 170s there. So to get it up that high within a minute, you can see how hard I'm working on those, which is great. That's exactly what we want to do. And then once I finished those 8, basically I ran the same loop again with a little bit extra on, but where I was trying to hold a aerobic heart rate. So a little bit more effort, The reason for doing that is twofold. One, it's good to kind of get used to running a little bit harder with a bit of fatigue in your legs from the intervals. But two, it also allows us to carry forward some of those efficient technique things we've been working on the hills into some regular running. So it just reinforces those technical things that we were working on the hill as well. So then looking at Friday's session, we did 15 times 400 meters on the treadmill. This graph has just got the heart rate because there's no pace information that comes from our treadmill up to the things. But basically I did these 400 meter reps at around about 3-minute kilometers on the treadmill. So you can see quite clearly where all the efforts are. Again, 400 meters, I think at that pace is just a little bit over a minute. So you can see their heart rate's getting up into the high 160s again and low 170s. So you can see how hard I'm working on those. They're basically full gas efforts. That went really well. I was really happy with that. I think that's the fastest I've run that session in a long time. Right, so then the big one, and the one that I was really I think this is the one I was most proud of this week. It was definitely the session that I had the most session dread for before starting. So it's a 4-hour ride, which we were doing indoors on the turbo just because it's Yorkshire and it rains all the time. So it's a 4-hour ride with a build in it, so it's an hour easy at the start, an hour at a kind of like aerobic, moderate power output, heart rate, and then an hour at sort of like race effort, kind of building through, and then the last hour we drop it back down and we go easy for the last hour. So you can see here on the thing, you can see it building nicely throughout. It's nice and stable. Heart rate's following the power really nicely, which is always really good to see. If we look at the individual laps, you can see on the first hour I was basically going, so average power 198, average heart rate 109. Lap 2, average power 163, average heart rate 130, so kicking it on a bit. And then that third hour we averaged 298 for 149 beats a minute, so it's really good power actually for that heart rate for me. And then that last hour we dropped it back down again, so that last hour was at 220 and an average heart rate of 131. The other thing that I was really, really happy with this week, that I think shows a bit of progress as well, is actually some of the easy rides. The thing that's been really positive from those is actually the heart rates on those have been really, really low when I've been doing them, and the power return's actually been really good. So, and I've been recovering while I'm doing them. So you can see on like this one in particular, I managed to average 197 watts for only 108 beats a minute. So yeah, that's really different to where it was a couple of weeks ago, when I think if I'd kind of done that ride, it would have been more like 120, 130 or something like that. So you can see that the fitness is definitely increasing because the easy stuff is really, really easy. Yeah, so that was the week. I think it went really, really well, and I was really, really happy with it. It's the biggest week I've done so far, so you can't complain too much, can you? What I thought would be interesting is if I talked a little bit about kind of like how we've structured it to get the most out of what time we do have, and I've kind of tried to boil that down to sort of 2 or 3 things that I think are really important. I think the first thing that we always kind of try to look at is not trying to force things into slots where they don't fit. So Ellie's working full time, 9 to 5 at the moment, which means that in the week, on the weekdays, like most people will experience, we need to prioritise doing the training in the morning and in the evenings. So if you look at the Monday to Friday, you can basically see that most of these things in the morning are an hour or less. That's just so we can fit them in and make sure that we're at work on time and not missing anything. None of the sessions in the middle of the week are, I think the longest one is 90 minutes, but they're mostly sort of 75 minutes or less. And that's just so that we can fit them in, get everything else done that we've got to do in the day, and keep recovering and keep going. There is a couple of days in this week where I did manage to get something in the middle of the day, where I've sort of found the time to get an extra session in on a few of those days in the middle of the week. That isn't possible for everyone. It is possible for us because a lot of our work is based at home, so there's no commutes or anything like that. So we can manage to get in the occasional session in the middle of the day as well, which we're fortunate enough to be able to do. If you're not, what I would do is most of those days where I got 3 sessions in were the days where I did the interval session, and I also did an easy session as well. I just knock out the easy sessions. So the morning session would have been the morning one, and the evening one would have been the interval session, rather than doing an interval session in the middle of the day and then an easy one at the end of the day. Because we've already got easy rides on other days for recovery and all that sort of stuff. So that brings us nicely onto the second thing that I wanted to talk about, which is basically getting the right blend and a really nice blend of sessions into the week. So in the week, I think we want some sessions where we're working really hard and we're working on something that we're trying to make ourselves better. Sessions where we're going easy, working on technique or recovering, and some sessions where we're working on the aerobic fitness, like longer ones. So how we structure those out is going to be dependent on what you've got time. Those aerobic, more specific sessions for like Ironman, half Ironman, stuff like that, they're going to take more time. So they normally need to be focused on a weekend or days where you have more time. And then how we structure out the rest of the week is, in the week we're basically doing the intense sessions that are a little bit shorter, and the sort of like easier recovery sessions that are just easier to get in. So if you look at the schedule that we've got here, you can see that basically all the vast majority of the interval stuff is done in the week and blended with a lot of easy stuff. And then on the weekend where we've got more time, that's where we put the longer build ride, and where we put this longer 2-hour brick session as well. So it's also where I didn't manage it this week because I was really struggling in the pool, but it's also where I put the longer swims in the week as well. So I put them on the days where I've got more time. So I think the last one that I'd highlight is that we need to have some clear goals around how we're balancing the training with life as well. So as much as we want to make sure that we're getting all the sessions done, that we're training lots of hours, that we're getting the right blend of sessions in as well, we also want to make sure that that's fitting in with all the other stuff that we've got going in life, whether that's family, relationships, work, whatever that is for you. So those things are going to look different for different people. For some people that'll be making it home in time to play with their kids before they go to bed. For others it'll be performing well at work. For me, that's making sure that I'm supporting Ellie in all of her goals as well as going after mine. So a lot of the stuff that we structure into the week is things that we can do together. So especially those morning sessions, a lot of them are runs we can do together, and the swims we try to structure out in a way that we're both getting a benefit out of them. It's also making sure that I'm getting in enough recovery, that I'm attentive with my coaching clients, that we're able to keep running the businesses that we run, and that I've got enough energy to take you for a walk as well, isn't it? Hey? It's the most important one, that one. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it's a little bit different to what we normally do in terms of chasing around with the camera and all that sort of stuff, but hopefully you found it at least a little bit interesting and maybe a little bit informative. We'll see you again next time.